Welcome back to the Mokdong studio. Look at our fans.
Wow.
A lot of sad fans actually about the last set there.
But there are going to be a lot of happy fans because we have got EG Huck versus OGS Nada coming up in just a couple minutes.
Yep.
It's going to be our next match today, a match a lot of people have been looking forward to. I know I have.
Well,
and
this is the first time that Huck has made his appearance at the GSL under the name Evil Geniuses.
That's true.
And so it's a new change for him, obviously. And I gotta say, I've actually I just want to put my opinion out there about this. Is what I want to do.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
I've been a fan of Huck actually since the beta, and I'm really glad to see that he's going and doing bigger and better things. He's going, growing and growing, and I think it's a good choice that he made. And sure, it's sad these types of choices have to be made, but there are a lot of people out there mad at Huck for this. But keep in mind, this is the choice that he's made. So if you're a fan of Huck's, you shouldn't be mad at him.
Well,
you should let him make the choice that he wants to make.
I think fans of Huck will be just fine. Fans of Team Liquid as a team will be disappointed, of course.
Yeah, of course.
That's fine. There's some of both. It's just
how
it is.
How
It's
it
like
is,
any
man.
other sport.
But I'm proud of Huck for how far he's come in general. Regardless of what team he's on now,
Yeah.
he's come so far, and he's here in the round of 16 at the GSL.
Geographically, he's come so far. He's been all over the world.
Oh yeah, that's something I was going to mention next, man. He actually is about to leave after this, going to win his games and jump on a scooter and drive down to the airport.
Pretty much. Yeah, we saw this guy before the GSL started today, and he's looking pretty tired.
Yeah, he's been traveling a ton.
I think it's starting to catch up to him a little bit, so I have to see how that impacts his play, because he's going up against Nada, who is not somebody you want to be tired when you're playing against.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Nada's very solid player all around.
Oh, absolutely.
Very unpredictable, though, at the same time. You never really know what Nada's going to throw at you.
Well, we talking about Nada and the crowd, I was talking to Moltrap during the break, and he and I were thinking, and I agreed with him, that the other time we saw the crowd this big was when it was Nada versus July in the, I think it was the semifinals of the GSL a couple months ago. Yeah. So Nada just draws big crowds. A lot of them girls.
Yeah, a lot of fangirls for Nada, that's for sure.
Yep, here we go. Let's take a look at these guys. There is Huck. Of course, Chris Loringer, Protoss, currently from Canada, I believe, but living in Korea. A lot of wins on that record down at the bottom.
His win rate versus Terran, only 50%, but Huck has shown some great PvT. He's taken out awesome players in the past, like Marine King. That's, that's kind of an achievement. Kind of, Marine King's kind of a big deal to beat him. Taken out alive, you can see down there as well.
There was a game on Metalopolis, I think it was a couple months ago, and I believe he was playing against MMA, where he actually held off that really deadly Marine tank Banshee all-in that we've been seeing a lot of Terran players do, and he held it off with some pretty amazing Stalker micros. So this is one of those guys that actually has one of the few Protoss that's actually held that off in the GSL. So that's going to be something that I wouldn't be surprised if he had to pull out today again.
Yeah, I think that we may end up seeing Nada. In fact, I think one of these 3 games, Nada will decide to do that same timing attack. It's so popular right now. It was popular a few months ago, and now it's become more popular again because Process have figured out how to play against Bios so well that,
Oh, yeah.
We just haven't. Now, here's Nada. Some people might call him the most consistent player in the GSL because he's played so well. He's ranked 6 there. You can see his rank at 6 only has 4,000 points. That's a third of what an ST has, just to give you guys some perspective about ranking points. Those ranking points come based on your performance in the GSL. You get a certain amount of points based on your placement. So that's what that ranking means. Obviously, he's the 6th highest points. So that's pretty impressive. We have so many players coming in and out of GSL, in and out of Code S.
Actually, that makes NSG all the more impressive when you think about the 6th place guy only having a third of the points that he does. That's a big jump. That's pretty amazing. But he's had one loss, a couple losses to Terran. Lost to Beyond, obviously, there, as you can see. But he did beat Keen, which is a really good Terran player. We did see Keen win his match yesterday. A lot of people were thinking he was going to get knocked off. So,
well, Nada beat Hongen, the most furthest away set that we have over there.
Yeah.
Beating Hongen, so that's the last time he's played against a Protoss recently. And now there's that brand new Evil Geniuses shirt down there. And Hookie's got a similar hairstyle to you today, man. You guys got the spiked up hair.
I guess
First map is going to be Antigua Shipyard. Daybreak eliminated by Huck, and actually eliminated by Nada as well.
Huh.
And probably because it's a relatively new map. Both these guys have been traveling quite a bit.
Yeah.
They haven't necessarily had time to practice on it. It hasn't been used in any tournaments outside the GSL just yet. Both Huck and Nada keep typing into chat S-T-A-R-T to start because they are ready to go.
Hey man, I'm ready to go too. I saw Huck type "I love you" in Korean to Nada as well. So a lot of love between these guys. Of course, they did used to be teammates too. So
I got an old We Make Fox charm actually from Torch last night. He gave it to me. I had a picture of Nada autographed it. So I've got that back at the house. So I feel really happy about that. It's going to go on my cell phone pretty soon, man.
Yeah, Nada used to play for Fox during Brood War. We've got the old Brood War Pro versus the new school Protoss Superstar.
Yeah, man. Huck used to play Brood War as well. He's got a lot of Brood War experience under his belt. He's not as successful as Nada, though. So it's cool to see these new school guys coming in, playing against these older pros in a situation I thought we'd never see, but I'm so happy that we get the chance to see. Only possible because of the GSL, the global Starcraft League.
Nothing more global than this. Nada versus Huck on Antigua Shipyard. The loading screen has done its thing. We're about to get in the game. Can't wait
ready?
to see what's going to happen. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Good.
All right, Huck versus Nada, PVT, Antigua Shipyard. This is the GSL Code S round of 16.
All right, over here in the bottom left part of Antigua Shipyard is our red Protoss player from the team Evil Geniuses, a fan favorite. He is... Oh.
Huck doesn't have actually an intro.
You want to do the voice then?
I can't do it like the girls can, but I'll do the Street Fighter one. E.G. Huck!
All right, that works.
That wasn't very good. I was in the middle of sense.
That works okay.
We'll have to do it next game. But look, there's a little splash screen for you guys. Huck fighting.
Fans. And look at that, you get free Pepsi products if you come to the GSL.
Yeah, you do. Belgium loves Korea.
We love Belgium.
We love Belgium. Belgian waffles are pretty good.
They are, man. I
love
if this guy likes Belgian waffles. Our blue Terran player on the right side of the map. Yes, Nada. Lover of Terran, possibly lover of waffles. Lover of winning. I'm sure he's going to be playing as hard as he can, man.
Wow. That guy's prepared to fight the Nada. Comes all the way out of the ground. Huck looks so surprised.
That dragon just turned into like the 7 Dragon Balls. Does Nada have to go, or Huck have to go look for those or something now?
I don't know, man. If he gets all of them, I guess he can make a wish.
Thanks to Pepsi, G-Skill, and Ola ebook sponsoring the GSL. I had another D&D, or not D&D, DBZ Dragon Ball moment earlier today when QXC was leaving. There's some more cheerfuls, a lot of cheerfuls here.
I know it's wrong, but I still love Huck. I came all the way from Canada to cheer for Nada.
It's not wrong, it's okay.
It's probably her boyfriend or something next to her. That's probably why she said that. She's like,
could be.
Maybe, you know.
It's still okay.
No matter what, it's okay to love Huck.
Absolutely.
No matter what, you know, no matter where you're from, no matter who you are, no matter how many boyfriends or girlfriends you have, it doesn't matter. You can still love Huck. I love Huck.
It's like Jello. There's always room for Jello. There's always room in your heart for
actually
Huck as well.
I don't like Jello. We talked about this yesterday.
Oh, that's right. You're one of those weirdos that doesn't like Jello. I don't understand that, man.
There's just nothing to understand. I also don't like ice cream.
Okay.
That's actually I looked at I never looked at my Wikipedia page before, and so like it was maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. Under my page it says facts, dislikes ice cream. I don't know.
Did you know that before you looked at your?
I knew that before, but I didn't know that it was public information. Well, now everyone knows.
We all know. We'll hate you for it. That SCV is not going to see a whole lot.
Yeah, he's not going to know that Huck took 2 gases.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Nada is looking to do a Marauder expand here. Just making Marauders continuously to pressure. Going to make a command center on the low ground. It's a very common build. You do often lose to Stargate openings when you do this type of build, as we saw yesterday, in fact.
Oh, he's going to catch that Stalker, though.
This can be very frustrating to deal with.
Oh, Huck actually could have gotten away, but he turned around.
Actually, you know, that's something that a lot of players don't do enough. Yeah. Is that when you're not going to get away, is just turn around, because watching a Stalker run is the saddest thing in the world to watch. He's like, oh, please. It's like, no, you're not going to get away. But then if you turn around and fight, you at least do a little bit of damage.
Yeah, that's true. Terran units don't regenerate.
Very true.
Got medics or medevacs.
Now, Nada has 2 Marauders in the Marine here. He's going to maybe push up the ramp. I don't think He absolutely has to.
He's kind of
Probe
waiting
does
for
see
that
it.
Reaper so he can get on the high ground.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got a Reaper somewhere on the map.
Yeah, the Reaper's in the middle of the map. He's going to use that Reaper vision. You're exactly right. Then he's going to start poking away at these units that Huck has. This is going to be very difficult for Huck to deal with.
It certainly could be. I mean, I believe that, well, that sentry's going to go down very, very quickly either way. And here comes the Reaper.
Force field's the ramp.
Stalker's right there, though.
Yep, and unfortunately, just wasted a force field there because Nada decided he wanted to play even safer. He just went home.
You know, well, I gotta say, I think it was a smart thing to force field the ramp, though. Just
yeah,
in case.
exactly. Because that for that exact reason, just in case, because
Yeah.
he knew that it was probably going to be the case, and that's why I said it was going to be hard for Huck to deal with because the units might have run up the ramp. Now, Huck is actually going to get aggressive with these 3 warp gates he's made. He's going to be doing a 3-gate expand, but doing it very aggressively. It's very difficult for Nada to hold this, though, with the very few units he has. And in fact, he hasn't made a bunker. Now he's going to make it. Okay.
Yeah.
And he sees the pylon.
All right, he wants to move out and take it down, but he really can't right now because he knows the units from Huck's base are already on their way.
It's actually going to be pretty difficult for Nada to hold. He's going to have just enough units. The stim is almost done.
Yeah, I was going to say, if stim finishes by the time Nada's stuff gets there, or Huck's stuff gets there, rather, I think Nada's going to be okay because he's got 4 barracks.
And for some reason, Huck warped his sentries onto the high ground to the low ground, so he can't attack very quickly. He has to walk around that ramp. Yeah, he's going to be completely fine because Huck just didn't do it as quickly as he could have, and now the bunker is up. Even though there are several sentries here, Nada should be able to hold this. He just, by the sheer number of units he has, he should be able to hold this.
And here comes Huck. He's going to give it a try anyway. Might just go ahead and try to walk around, and that's what he's going to do.
Should
know.
Be very careful here. Not losing any hit points on his units, though. Nice control by Huck, pulling the SCVs away. He's made a Nexus back at home. This is an expand move. This is actually a really popular build. Nada's going to get into the base. He not only sees the Nexus, but will see the robotics as well.
Well, yeah, he made a really smart decision by not committing and going in there, at least not committing for a little while anyway. Nada did have 4 barracks, as you can see there, so that's going to be a little bit more units.
He's going to poke here again, using some great force fields. You guys are going to get a shot. Here we go. Great force fields by Huck. Maybe overextending just a little bit, but at first his control was so perfect, picking off a lot of the units of Nada, but losing a lot more. If he loses these sentries, it will definitely not be worth it. Does get out of there, but loses several sentries, a lot of his stalkers. His first attack was good. He picked off units, should have backed away though. Yeah, I knew you guys didn't get a shot of the first part, but his first force fields were great.
Right there, I mean, if you look at the supplies, he basically just kind of ended up trading units a little bit. So, and now he knows, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt that this isn't going to really do any damage, so he has pulled back by now. But, you know, yeah, I think Huck played that really well, and I think Nada also played that really well in terms of defending it, too. You see a lot of Terran players kind of get stuck in that situation with only 3 barracks, and then it is tough to hold that off because you have, you know, that many less units. But Nada, rather than getting that factory after his 3rd barracks like a lot of Terran players do, got the 4th barracks instead, and I think that was a very good decision.
Yeah, it's usually when you do a fast expanding Marauder type build, you want to make the 4th barracks instead. Usually. In most cases.
Well, you see a lot of players skip it. You know, they just want to get the medevacs or the Ghost Academy out. So.
The medevacs help you hold it, but at this specific timing, I think it was a better choice. Now, we're going to lose his pylon, of course. Huck realized the inevitability of this, already has prepared back at home with additional pylons. Now, robotic support bay is on the way around the same time as the reactor and the starport, so you guys can see that the tech patterns for these guys are lining up around perfectly with each other. Usually if the robotic support bay and the reactor and starport are finishing up at the same time, pretty much both players are on even footing in some shape or form.
No, I see what you mean. That's absolutely true.
Nada taking a slight supply lead. He's got better production with that 4th barracks. He's added a 5th one as well here.
Now that's kind of interesting. I mean, it seems like he wants to just make a ton of Marines. Doesn't seem like he's focusing too much on Marauders. And with Huck going Colossus tech, I don't know if that's going to be the best decision. Okay, now putting 2 tech labs on the barracks. I was wondering about that. I was like, well, this seems a little bit shaky. So
the thing about what he was doing earlier, if you power the additional 4th barracks first, then you make mostly Marines because if you spend a lot of money on the barracks, you can't afford that many Marauders. So you make the Marines first, hold the push, then you start adding the tech labs and making the Marauders once you're fully saturated on 2 bases, essentially. But he's going to want to get aggressive here soon because you can't easily support 5 barracks with tech labs and a reactor starport off of just 2 bases.
Scandon took out that observer. First Colossus for Huck is on the way.
Now, Nada is going to make a 3rd command, so he's going to do a timing attack at the same time. He's salvaged 2 of his bunkers.
This is actually really, really nice timing for Nada right now. If you can hit the Protoss player right as they get that first Colossus out, a lot of times they don't have the gateway units to hold this, so Huck's going to have to
difficult.
have really good micro for this.
And if he keeps a lot of his units in his main to defend against potential drops, the attack at the front's going to be that much stronger. But if you keep all of your units at the low ground at your natural and the drop comes, then you can't defend it. So this is a very common strategy from Nada. Now, this is spotted by Huck, though.
Well, this is enough units right here to take out what
Nada's going to drop
actually.
everything.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I agree with this, but he may lose the Colossus. Good force fields keeping the Colossus alive, but now the Zealots can't attack.
Yeah, keeping the Colossus a little bit out of the fight, too. The Zealots stuck behind the force fields. Nada's going to have to pull out.
The force fields stopping the Stalkers from chasing down the Medivacs.
Yeah.
The attack doing very minimal damage, but still Nada swinging ahead in supply, up to 17 supply ahead now.
Yeah, it definitely went better for Nada than it did for Huck, but it didn't go as badly as it could for Huck. I mean, Huck kind of came out of that as best as you could in that situation. The big thing is he didn't lose his Colossus. That's always a horrible thing, is when you lose, one of your Colossi to just a drop or something.
Yeah, it's so scary when that happens. If they drop near your Robo and your Colossus pops out at that time, you're like, well, should I have just canceled that? I don't know. Well, the Nexus now is going to come up here. Another big drop for Nada. He's actually loaded up 4 dropships. Now, with these 4, he is going to be able to land despite the Stalkers being here.
I don't know if this is going to be the best decision. He's going to lose a Medivac before anything jumps out. Oh, and Huck actually might, I don't know.
He's losing all of his Stalkers, and now it's going to be very difficult to defend this.
Yeah.
But Nada is going to clean up a lot of these ults here. Wants to target down the Colossus. I'm not sure if that was the right choice.
It was a little bit dangerous to try to stim ahead and do that.
Yeah, now he's dropping more units in here. I'm not sure. I mean, he's got the ability to run away because there aren't very many Stalkers.
Yeah.
He cleaned up the Stalkers and left, so fairly even trade. Now, Nada, remember, made a 3rd command center during all of this, so this relentless aggression has allowed him to take that 3rd command center. He's got a ton more units back at home. He started making Vikings, so he's in a pretty good position from here. Huck's kind of trapped on his base. He started his Nexus, but it's up much later than Nada.
Both of these guys, though, I mean, working well under pressure so far. Nada still kind of edging ahead, though. Like
exactly. Nada taking... Well, hold that thought. A drop coming down here. He's trying to target down the Stalkers yet again. Losing quite a few units, though. Nada's at 1-1 with his upgrades. He's got 2-2 on the way, whereas Huck just has +1 weapons. He's got +1 armor. He only has 1 Forge.
Yeah.
But charges on the way. Temple Archives. Gravitic Drive on the way. Warp Prism speed and a Warp Prism on the way for Huck. So he is going to get pretty creative here.
Yeah, now on the Terran side of things, the Ghost Academy is almost done too, which is going to be really nice, as well as those barracks added on. I'd love to see Huck do something crazy like
we may see some Templar drops.
I want to see Colossus drops.
We could see some Colossus drops too.
We could.
Yeah, we've seen High Templar drops used in other matchups like PvZ sometimes recently at the GSL. Not a very popular strategy. 6 High Templar being warped in right here. I don't think we're going to see anything crazy like an Archon drop, although I suppose that's also a possibility. What we may end up seeing here is just simply Huck using the Warp Prism to protect his High Templar from EMPs, then dropping them out, storming, and then picking them back up again.
That's something that we don't see a whole lot, but something we should see more, I feel. I've talked to a lot of Protoss players lately about Warp Prisms and things like that, and a lot of them say, well, I'd use it more, but it's just so fragile.
It's fragile, and to me, as a Protoss player, the biggest reason why I don't use Warp Prisms as much is because, well, simply put, the Colossus is, you're not building a Colossus while you're building a Warp Prism.
In
most cases, that's the reason why I don't want to make a Warp Prism. It takes up my Robo time. Now, a huge drop coming over here for Nada, even bringing Vikings to escort this.
This could do some serious damage.
And the Vikings may catch the Warp Prism.
Oh no, that Warp Prism has 4 High Templar in it too. He needs to be very careful.
Oh no, look at this building placement really hurting Huck. The Templar dropping out here does storm, hitting a lot of Nada's units.
Yeah, and I think Huck is going to be able to get this Colossus. Yeah, he only got, Nada only got 1 of the Templar. I don't know.
Well, he got the Warp Prism as well, which actually had 2 in it still.
Oh, it did?
And the third one there is just one that joined in. He was tagging along.
Just hanging out.
Yeah, he's hanging out. He likes Templar. He's like, well, we're all Templar. We'll hang out together.
That makes sense.
Now, Huck is actually catching up in supply. That drop for Nada didn't do as well as he wanted. He killed a Colossus. He killed some Templar, but this is a really bad engagement for Huck. His units are split up here. I'm not sure why he's deciding to do this. Really bad. This actually puts the favor back hugely into Nada. There's probes transferring here. I'm
sending those probes to mine long distance from the gold, I guess, but...
Yeah, I don't know. That didn't make any
timing.
sense to me. Nice storms here, though. He's got to be careful of the ghosts.
Oh, EMPing all the High Templar. And
Oh, man. Huck just miscontrolling so much here.
yeah, I think Huck's kind of falling apart. He was doing so well, but that does give Nada a big lead. Nada's going to be able to kill this third so easily, and then he's going to be very far ahead.
Guardian Shield's going up. Now he's going to be able to kill this army most likely, but will he be able to save the Nexus?
Oh. Nada not really controlling his forces terribly well until right now, getting that concave finally.
Looks like he just wants to try to win this fight. He thinks he might be able to do it. And it looks like he actually may be able to do it.
Yeah.
Nice control, though, by Huck, pulling the Colossus back, and it looks like he will clean this up, but not without losing a ton of units.
He does save the Nexus, though, which is a big deal. Round of applause, actually, for Huck from the crowd there for saving that Nexus. But look at that, Nada taking a 4th right now, and Nada's 3-3 is about halfway done, too.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Huck. Huck's upgrades right now still at 1-1.
Yeah.
He's getting Terran ship level 1 upgrades. That's what Nada's doing right now,
Nada's
man.
got resources to burn at this point.
He has resources to burn. That's a good point. He's taking a 4th base.
Yep.
Huck barely able to hold off his 3rd. Worker count 72. SCVs to 54 probes. And Huck's army right now, the only backbone it has are those High Templar, and he's going to have to control them a lot better than he did just then if he wants to be able to do a good job.
Well, he just made a lot of Archons, too, as we saw. And the one thing that really worries me about Huck right now is that he has kind of a lack of gateway units at the moment, too. You know, he's been focusing a lot on teching, but you need that strong core of gateway units to protect all the expensive ones. That drop not doing a whole lot, but it looks like it will escape. Yep, it's away just in time. That Zelt's going to die to the planetary fortress when it eventually finishes.
Yeah, that Zelt's been doing hard work on that planetary. There's actually SCVs transferring over there as well, and uh-oh.
Sad.
Oh, no.
Poor
Man,
Zelt.
that Zealot, I think he probably should have rethought his life plan before going over there, I think.
I would. If he's like, there's something happening with this building, I better hit it faster. I know what's going on.
Well, Nada actually has a large army, but supply-wise, their armies are about the same size. The supply differential is mostly in worker count.
Yeah,
now, with some good storms, he does have 3 Colossi out. They have range. Huck may be able to win this fight quite easily. The problem, though, is he has inferior upgrades. That's going to make it very difficult for him to win this fight. I like how Huck continues to use these Blink Stalkers. He's going to catch these medevacs. Catches the medevac with units in it. Nice. Huck continues to use this it's just a group of 9 Blink Stalkers. He's been using it around the map this entire time. I know we haven't gotten a lot of shots, but he's been going everywhere with this group of Stalkers, and when you find things like this, it makes it well worth it.
He's putting some pylons in at that 4th base of Nada too. I feel like Huck's on this balance beam, and like Nada pushes him when he's trying to walk across. He's like, whoa, but he doesn't quite fall off. You know, he like gets back on it.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, I would say, about this game. But Huck is coming back. He's actually at almost to the end of the balance beam. He's about to stick his hands up and do the thing that you do when you're done doing things at the Olympics. I don't know what that's called.
The dismount?
I guess that's what it's called. I don't know, man.
I don't know if he's ready for the dismount quite yet, but he might be ready for his like last big like flipping trick.
Terran building armor being researched right now by Nada.
Like
Going to help keep those planetaries alive as well as any structures that come under fire. Now, I think with those pylons in the north are 4, I think Huck's going to warp in High Templar there and harass those SCVs. And in fact, he warped in just 1 right now up there.
Yep. Certainly could be. He could even cannon rush it if he wanted to. Huck taking the gold right now as well. I don't know if Nada's
very
gonna allow
difficult.
this.
Yeah, very difficult to hold the gold on this map against a very mobile Terran army. These Stalkers are going to find the army.
Oh, no.
He's not blinking them. Okay.
Okay.
That was scary, man.
That was a preemptive oh no, but it was almost warranted.
It was oh no, and then it was okay.
It's like, oh, okay.
All right, so more units being warped in here for Huck at the north. He's got 2 High Templar. Doesn't quite have enough storm energy, but almost.
He's getting there. I like how they made it so you can't shoot the gold base from the high ground, but you can hit the mineral line.
Here we go.
It's storm time.
Storms on some of these SCVs, not hitting a ton of them.
Not a whole lot. No.
Not entirely sure what the Zealots are for up there, though. I guess he thinks he can kill some SCVs. I mean, he can, but...
Get a couple of them, yeah. Nice.
Cloaked Ghost running forward, and the Observer sees them, though.
EMPing all the Stalkers and the Observer, but he loses like 6 ghosts.
I think this made trigger Nada to attack, but is it the right time?
Yeah, I don't know. That was a big investment he just lost there. Those ghosts are
I don't know.
He's going to force a cancel on that gold base. Possibly, I guess not. Huck's going for it.
Oh, man, I don't think this is the right choice for Huck, but he's going to try it anyways, and he may have just too many Zealots, despite the fact that Nada has better upgrades. The Zealots and Colossus.
Man.
Archon's tearing through everything. The Vikings weren't firing, and Huck taking a supply lead here.
Pushing Nada all the way back to his base right now. Huck's going to want to turn around soon, take out a medevac just for fun at the end of that push. Just a parting gift.
Oh man, Huck warping in Stalkers at the top as well here to harass these SCVs. There's no units for Nada that can really defend against Stalkers that can just hide behind the mineral line.
Yeah.
Pick away. He's got those Templar up here still. He can continue to storm. Right now, Nada, as far as income goes, he's just barely ahead of Huck, but Huck does have that gold base up. It's going to change very soon.
Right, well, Nada's taking a lot of bases right now, but...
Are we going to watch a Planetary kill a High Templar? I hope not.
We might watch a Planetary kill some Stalkers? I don't know.
And he's going to actually storm on top of these SCVs yet again.
Yeah.
Using the Archon here to tank damage. The Zealots run in, and looks like his Planetary actually may fall. It's going to repair it.
Yeah, I don't
it's going down. It looks like it's going to go down. It's hovering right at the 140.
I don't know, man. I don't think this is going to kill it. Maybe with the second Archon now.
He needs to target down some of the SCVs maybe. This is...
okay, now
he goes. Now he targets the SCVs, and that's going to be it for that Planetary.
Wow.
Huck in a huge lead here. He's got the gold base. He's got map control. He holds the tower.
Yeah.
Now, holding the tower on this map is incredibly important. And now he's going to hit this Planetary over here as well. There's nothing really mining there. He's got to be careful. Doesn't want to engage this poorly. There he goes.
So here we go again.
And Nada's still having superior upgrades, but Huck controlling the map, taking these bases out. Nada's going to attack now. He's realizing, okay, you have a significant investment of units over at the north. I'm going to see if I can break you at the center, and it may just work.
Yeah, I don't know if Huck has enough to hold this. Nada might just be able to snipe this Nexus. Looks like he is. The Nexus going down. And that's nice. So both of these players kind of taking chunks out of each other.
Yeah, right now, Nada has the easternmost base as well. It's being made into a Planetary. Huck sees that its Planetary isn't done. He may actually just go and attack that now. Yeah. But on the other hand, I think he really wants to trap the army of Nada first. He wants to be very methodical about how he does this. Both players need that extra base, and Huck looks like he wants to make an investment in an attack first. Now, one thing to notice is that Huck actually got +1 shields for his Archons before getting +2. We'll hold that thought.
It's good.
The Planetary looks like it's going to go down in storms. I don't think I've ever seen 3 High Templar scare a bio army away before like that.
I don't know. Those storms are pretty scary, man. I love what Huck is doing. He's switching back to Colossi after he knows that Nada's not making Vikings anymore. Really smart decision by Huck. Huck is, you know, I mean, I don't know how this guy has the energy to do this. I mean, he's beaten fatigue in a pretty amazing way here by doing
these guys both hitting about 300 actions per minute as they move around the map. That is crazy. And that's StarCraft 2 actions per minute. It's different than StarCraft 1 actions per minute.
You know, a lot of players I've talked to too, you know, they're worried about Huck because when you go to all these different events, you don't have time to practice, but Huck just has been looking better every game I've seen.
Yeah, man, he has improved so much. He's come so far, and he's taken on one of the best Korean players in the world. One of the best StarCraft 1 players, but also StarCraft 2 players.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fighting against a legend here.
Now, Nada's kind of still trapped on 3 bases. Huck's remaking his gold right now. What's the income for those guys at the moment?
Right now, it's 900 minerals per minute for Huck, about 700 for Nada. That fluctuates back up to 800 to 900 when their mules drop, of course. Now, Huck, he has the center. And where can Nada really expand? He just can't. Huck has a better army, but Huck being a little bit passive right now, the scary part about that is that it does allow Nada to remax again. You never want to be at a max versus max situation as Protoss if you can prevent it.
Yep.
So that is what I'm worried about with Huck. He's continuing to use these Stalkers, this time about 11 of them at the north, just making sure absolutely that his opponent is not taking any hidden bases that he doesn't know about.
I wonder if you can blink across from the main to the third on the top of the map there. It looks pretty narrow. I'm curious. I don't know.
It looks like it's probably it's potentially possible.
We'll take
now, Nada is going to move out with this really large army. Yeah. He's got 3-3. He's going to try to hit this Nexus again.
This is kind of a last-ditch effort
for this Nada. Is a really good position for Nada. Huck's army can't engage, and he can get the Nexus and leave. If he does that, Huck will be in an awkward position, but it looks like he is too nervous.
Oh, Huck, I don't know about this engagement. He's kind of sitting... Oh, never mind. He's got a ton of Zealots. Great EMPs on those Archons, so are the upgrades going to make the difference?
It doesn't look like it, man. I think Huck is going to beat OGS Nada here in Game 1. GG!
Wow!
No way, man!
Dude, EG Huck. Look at that.
Look at this guy. He is an evil genius, man.
He is, man. That was sick.
Remember, Huck, he's come so far. I mean, I just want to talk about back in the beta, he was the guy who was #1 on the ladder, right, for so long. This guy's always up there. He won a lot of open tournaments, online tournaments. He got noticed that way, joined Team Liquid. Team Liquid gave him the opportunity to come here to Korea. He's been in Korea training for so long, and it's really starting to show.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy has been getting better and better. You know, every time we see him, like you mentioned earlier, he didn't do too well, I guess, at IM and some of the other events recently, but in the GSL, he's been looking pretty unstoppable.
I mean, he really is looking unstoppable. Unstoppable is the best way to put it, man.
Yeah.
Nana just couldn't stop. Nana's like, well, I'm in a better position than you. I had better upgrades than you.
I had more bases than you.
I had more bases than you, and I think I can win this fight. And Huck said no.
Yeah,
Huck said no. He gets some good storms. He had so many Archons. He had just the perfect mix. And what playing Protoss versus Terran a lot of time is having the perfect mix of Zealots, Archons, and Stalkers. If you make too many Stalkers, then your army gets crushed because the Zealots aren't tanking. If you make too many Zealots, though, you just get kited like crazy. You have to have this perfect mixture, and Huck, I think he simply did just that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the engagements that he picked, too. I was a little bit worried at the end, but he always seemed to have, like, a great engagement as well. Always seemed to, like, move in at the right area.
He put those pylons at the north where it was very difficult for Nana to deal with that harassment.
Yeah, there was nothing he could do.
The only way he could have maybe dealt with it was, like, sending dropships over there to defend it.
Nana's looking like the Home Alone guy at the moment. He's like, I
love that photo, man. It looks like, you remember when he, like, shaves or whatever?
Yeah,
his face, that's what I was talking about, too. He's like,
Then he finds a spider.
Oh, yeah. That's a good movie, man.
That was a good movie.
I loved that when I was a kid.
Feeling all nostalgic now.
I know, and I was actually like so much younger than you when I watched that too. I was like a little kid, man. I still remember that stuff. It's a good movie.
It is a great movie. Our next map is going to be Xel'Naga Fortress. Great map.
This is going to be intense. Is Nada going to get 2-0'd by Huck?
I don't know,
Is that what's going to happen here?
Nada played really well the first game too, so I wouldn't count him out of this one bit either. If you're a Nada fan, don't get discouraged. We're going to move into game 2. It is the GSL Code S. Don't go anywhere, guys. Game starting right now.